On today's episode of Locked On Avalanche, it is happening, Kyle. Mr. Gabe Landeskog is with the Colorado Eagles for a conditioning stint. You can officially get excited. Let's talk about it. New episode of Locked On Avalanche coming at you.
You're Locked On Avalanche, your daily podcast on the Colorado Avalanche, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the Locked On Avalanche podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. I'm your host, Chris Maselli. With me, as always, Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan. Thank you for tuning in and making this your first listen of the day. Always appreciate it. If you want to get in on the conversation, join our subtext. Link is in the show notes. Chat with Kyle and I one-on-one. We get your opinion, everything Avalanche related, and share it on this very podcast. What better time to do that now? Playoffs right around the corner. And Mr. Gabe Landeskog seems like he is going to be a part of that. We still have a few questions as if to when exactly, but this is the next step, sir. So we're going to be talking about him. We'll talk about the Avs game over Vegas. We didn't get a chance to talk about that yet. And the Malone firing from the Denver Nuggets. I got some comments from people kind of concerned, like, oh no, what does this mean for Jared Bednar? We'll try to put some concerns to rest there, but definitely something to talk about on that front. But we have to start, obviously, with Gabe Landeskog. He goes to the Colorado Eagles for a conditioning stint. And what that basically means for people who say, okay, what is that all about? If you're injured, you can go down there or up there or wherever your AHL team is and play a few games for them, and it doesn't count against the salary cap for your NHL team. Obviously, Gabe Landeskog is on LTIR, been on LTIR, so he can't come back right now and have his cap count against the Avs because they would be well over the cap. Once you get to the playoffs, there is no salary cap, and that's when his return is expected, whenever that can happen. But this is what happens when players go down to your AHL affiliate just to get a conditioning stint, they call it. And he can do up to 3 games. There is some leniency. No, I don't want to say leniency, but you can ask for more if needed. Teams don't really do that. But you can do up to 3 games, and then you have to make a decision with them if they're coming back up. And that I mean, all of this is gearing towards the playoffs, right? Playoffs are right around the corner. He's doing this now. This is kind of what we thought, if it's going to work out this way, this is how it would happen, that he goes down there. So he's been practicing with them. He's been practicing, obviously, with the Avalanche, but when they were out of town, he went with them and did some practicing. Like, you're getting a really good run of Landeskog practicing and not taking days off, not feeling like he's tweaked anything. So the next logical step is game action. And this is it. So Friday they play, and you're going to see Gabe Landeskog playing live hockey in a Colorado Eagles uniform, which will be weird anyway.
Yeah, and we talked about this way back with Dater. When we were talking about Landy's return, like, could this be a possibility? And like at the time, it was kind of balked at, like, nah, they wouldn't. But now you see, this is a conditioning stint. Like, this is kind of what we were talking about. Like, this is the best way for Landy to, get acclimated to game action and then join the team for the playoffs. So to see it come to fruition it's interesting. It's wonderful. It's refreshing. Watching that little package the Eagles put out today, it's like a video package of Landy skating around in the light blue helmet and getting coached. And I'm just like, what year is this? What is going on? It's like you got the anniversary of the Goofy movie going on. Like, you're scrolling socials and you're getting all this thrown at you. You're like, what year is this really? And like Landy, he looks good. He's taking good cuts and moves, and I am very excited to see what he looks like in game action, because everything that you're seeing up to this point, it looks really, really good.
Yeah. And it's, you see what is out on social media, and you've seen that for a couple months now of him practicing and stuff like that. But I think the documentary really just adds to his return, and just it's like, you don't know, you think in your mind what he like is really went through, but that whole thing, and there's still one more episode to go in that, but we've seen enough to really kind of like get a peek behind the window to kind of see what he's gone through. And when you see that part of it, and just we've talked about it how many times over the last 3 years. It's just, and now we're there. Now we're to the point where that he has wanted, and Avalanche fans have wanted for 3 seasons now. 3 full seasons now. And it's finally there's so many people just, he needs to retire. And I get that thinking. I understand. I'm not going to come down on those people, but
I'm right here, Chris.
because you were one of them. No, I get it. I get it. But I also get the hockey player side of it. And man, like, you're right though. Like I want to see how he is in game action, but just to see him playing meaningful minutes is 3 years in the making. And some people thought this day would never come. He thought this in some moments that this day would never come. And it's here. And you're looking at, I got their schedule here. So they're playing Friday. So they're playing a back-to-back, both against Henderson Silver Knights. It's the AHL team for Vegas. Those are both at home. And then they do go on the road for Wednesday. So they play Friday, Saturday, and then they don't play till Wednesday. So I don't know if he would do that game. I don't know, because and then their next home game is Friday, which is the day before the playoffs start. And we don't know the playoff schedule yet. So we don't know if the Avalanche first day will be Saturday the 19th or if they play Sunday the 20th. We don't know. So he might only get 2 games. He might only do those 2 games so he can, play 2 games and then get back to practice with the Avalanche. But I mean, 2 games is 2 games, and he's going to play whatever minutes he feels is comfortable for him, and then go from there, and then kind of reassess and see where we're at.
You mentioning that it's twofold. First, like when it comes to the retirement talk, it was out of respect because we didn't want like Landeskog to go out and like it be a shell of Landeskog. Mm-hmm. Just like, dude, just take care of yourself. And now to see him, and you're listing the dates, and as you say it, Sunday, April 20th is Easter. How fitting would it be for Landeskog to rise again on Easter and return to the Colorado Avalanche?
Wow.
It just hit me as you
instead
were saying
of 3 days, it's 3 years.
3 years. He's got a different timeline.
Yeah.
But our Lord and Savior Gabe Landeskog returning in the playoffs. But that just struck me as really funny.
That's pretty funny.
I would like to see him, not take both games of that back to back. Like, ease yourself in.
That is another. Yeah, it is a back to back.
Yeah. You sit with a team. Like,
yeah,
don't overdo it. Like, it's one thing that you're here, but don't waste like your energy on these games. Like, you want to see this. You get to this point. It's great. It's wonderful. First time in 3 years, you're really getting back to hockey action, games that matter. Score matters. The Eagles are also pushing for the playoffs.
Yeah.
But don't overdo it. That's been going back and watching the Landy documentary. That's been something that he's had to battle, is overdoing it, taking steps back. Like, you're here, just continue your pace and be smart about it. Do not overdo it, because you don't want all this pop and circumstance. Because like, it hit me today, like seeing his name on a transaction wire again, like Gabe Landeskog in parentheses COL. Like, it's just like that name is back, and you don't want it to go away before it like gets started. So be careful, please.
So you mentioned like the back-to-back, and is that a concern, pushing it too much, too fast, or maybe not even too fast, just a back-to-back for someone that hasn't played in 3 years? We're going to throw you into a back-to-back. What about the concern of if anybody takes a run at him? The AHL is a fun league. It's a different league. guys try to make a name for themselves down there because there's one more league above them that they're trying to get to. And do you think it's one of those things where, hey, we need to respect this guy's coming back who hasn't played in 3 years? I'm going to treat him like any other player, but I'm not going to try to attempt a cheap shot at him. Or do you have that bonehead who just, has two brain cells rattling around and sees an opportunity and goes for it? I can't say, because all it takes is one of those lunatics to do that. I mean, if that happens, that dude's career is over. I don't. I can't imagine whoever his professional affiliate is would be like, yeah, that's who we want on our team. But you never know. You never know, and that is a concern of mine. And I wonder how Landeskog feels about that. I wonder if he's thinking like, yeah, I don't want anybody to take a cheap shot at me, but if I'm open for a hit, I would want someone to hit me legally, cleanly, not maliciously, to see if this is all working, to see if everything goes. So what do you think in that aspect?
This might have been a concern, I would say maybe 10 years ago, 15, but in the AHL, you are not going to make a name. You are not going to get a call to the show taking out Gabriel Landeskog by making a run. Physicality is one thing, but I honestly, I could say without any reservation, I think Gabe Landeskog carries that same respect that Joe Sakic did, where any move towards Joe Sakic was a league-wide respect. Like, you don't do that to Mr. Sakic. Exactly. I think it's the same thing. You don't do that to Mr. Landeskog, especially with 3 years bringing this comeback. What do you gain by taking a run at Gabe Landeskog? I think the entire league, it doesn't matter what. Like, as soon as this was announced, he's automatically up for awards for this comeback. You gain nothing by making, and if you take a run at Gabe Landeskog, you will never see ice time ever again. You will be the players will turn against you. It is not a move you need to make.
I would think that player would be blacklisted.
Yep.
If you ask me. And I love that you mentioned the Sakic story. That was between Brendan Shanahan and Sean Avery. I mean, if you're familiar with Sean Avery, he was a chirper. And he was doing it on the bench, and he got pulled by Brendan Shanahan and said something to the effect of, you don't do that to Mr. Sakic. Like, he's off limits, basically. Different scenarios. One's chirping. One is like, we're talking about someone like taking a run at Landeskog, but in the same realm of, for this game and for these games, he's off limits for that. He's off limits for cheap shots and runs and all that stuff. If he's against the boards and he can be hit, you hit him. You hit him. And I think he would want that. I think he would welcome that. But the cheap stuff, I think for this, get that out of here. So, going to be excited. It's a hot ticket for the seats. It's a hot ticket for his jersey. That is going to be a rare collector's item. It's
probably the most watched AHL game this year.
Oh man. Oh, by far. I would think so, by far. So, get excited. It's almost here, and we'll be talking a lot more about that in the days to come. All right, let's talk about the Avs and their game against Vegas that they won in a shootout. Avs are loving shootouts for some reason recently. Too many. At least
someone is.
Too many of them. So we'll talk about that, and then get to the Malone firing with the Nuggets and what's that mean for Joe Sakic, if anything. We'll talk about all that coming up.
Do you have trouble sleeping? If so, you're not alone. That used to be me, lacking rest, tossing and turning. I was late for meetings. I never felt like myself. That's until I found Bare Mattress. Bare Mattress and their sleep recovery technology helped me fall asleep faster, as well as enjoy deeper sleeps. I felt like myself again, and you can too. Bare Mattress knows that every sleeper is different. That's why they have their sleep quiz on their website that finds you your perfect match. As a side sleeper, I matched with the Elite Hybrid mattress, and I've been telling everyone in my life they have to try Bare Mattress risk-free. You can sleep on your Bare Mattress up to 120 nights, and if you're not getting the best sleep of your life, you can get it refunded. They'll pick it up with absolutely no hassle. So go to baremattress.com and use my promo code LOCKEDONNHL at checkout to get 40% off site-wide. This offer is not available anywhere else. You have to use my promo code on the very last page of checkout to get this discount. That's baremattress.com. Use my promo code LOCKEDONNHL for 40% off site-wide. Baremattress.com, promo code Locked On NHL.
All right, let's jump back into things and discuss this Avs win over Vegas. I thought this was a fun game. I thought this was a fun, exciting game. Avs down a bunch of guys. Vegas down a bunch of guys. But still, there's enough talent out there where this, Vegas and Avs games are becoming like my favorite games to watch.
All except for the first one this year. That's that 8-4.
Yeah, no, yes, you're right. You forget about that one. In general, they're my favorite games to watch. But and this game is a good reason why. Sure, the first period was a little bit wonky and kind of uneventful, at least for the Avs. But everything else after that, I was enjoying. And you got a nice comeback victory for the Avs. It was a fun and exciting overtime period. I appreciate that the Avalanche don't play that style. Like everybody talks about, we got to revamp overtime. I'm kind of like, from an Avalanche perspective, I'm like, I don't think so. If you want to add a couple minutes, sure. I'm fine with that. But I love how the Avalanche play 3-on-3 hockey. They go after it. They want to end the game. They don't want to go to a shootout, and they don't.
Oh, and you froze. You haven't done that in a while. But when you're coming back, the Avs do play a nice 3-on-3 game.
Hold the puck
and
and do it.
It's rough to see. It's rough to see now that they're figuring it out, because in the playoffs you don't get that anymore. It's 5-on-5.
No, you don't.
So
yeah.
Thanks for fixing it. Yeah. Now it's gone.
Yeah, now it's gone. But no, but just overall, I thought this was a fun and exciting game, and I thought a lot of the Avs players played a solid hockey game, down a lot of guys.
And and it's a good point. Like in hindsight, yeah, when you know the result, and Jared Bednar even mentioned this, it's both these teams know where they're finishing, like in the playoffs. Like nothing's really going to shift or change. Like, yes, Vegas clinched and got their who cares? 1 point. You're not changing a lot when it comes to destiny. You're not really fighting for anything. You're just maintaining. There are a lot of maintenance, like Ross Colton with the mysterious day-to-day, just take some time off. Like you get a lot of that on both sides. And to get through this game, and like the way it started, you allowed a shorthanded goal. Embarrassing, abysmal. And then not even 40 seconds into the second period, you're down 2-0. You're like, okay, this is just going to be one of those games. And then what turns the tide? Okay, everybody, strap in. This really happened. Mm-hmm. And a review went our way. It's I know I'm not. This is not. Ashton Kutcher is not coming out. You're not being punked. This is true. And it was interesting to see that actually stand when it wasn't that clear, like defined.
It's not that it stood, they reversed it, right? Because they called it a save.
Yes.
So
I was very shocked. I was like, I could see it. Like you could put 2 and 2 together and do the mental math and make that work.
Yeah.
But you didn't see it, and it still worked Avs' way. You're like, okay, and that turned the tide.
Sure.
And then you had Jimmy Vesey of all players score one, and that's his first in his 7 games with the Avs. So good for you. And then Charlie Coyle, like
he's becoming Bednar's favorite on the shootouts.
That's a 2-point night. 2-point night. So this is I liked how it ended, but that start was abysmal. And I'm going to throw one more bonus at you before you throw your rebuttal to it.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it coming into this game. Vegas had the number 1 power play. You held them 0 for 4.
Beautiful.
That's what you want. That's what you want.
And and one of those was in overtime.
Yeah,
where Keaton Middleton just inexplicably just throws the puck. It's not like it rolled on him or anything like that. I mean, he just scooped that thing and just launched it into
Nick Holden'd it.
Holy man! Like I don't know where that was going, but and when that happened, you're like. It usually marks the end of the game in overtime when it's 4-on-3. just how it usually happens. And they didn't have a lot of time. I think there was, well, no, they got did they get the full 2 minutes of that? I mean, it was towards the end.
It was towards the. I think there was.
I don't think they got
20
the full,
seconds.
I think there was a little bit more than that. It wasn't the full 2 minutes, because I remember thinking, oh, this is, you know, in my head, I'm going through like, maybe they're putting a rule, that old rule change where if you're on a penalty and time runs out, you get the full penalty.
Yeah.
Like, should they do that in overtime? So I remember it wasn't the full amount, but it was enough. Like when you're a 4-on-3, you know, even if you have 1 minute, that's like 2 minutes. But they shut that down. They shut that down. And you mentioned Charlie Coyle, you know, had the 2 assists, had the only goal in the shootout. That play for the VC goal was because of Charlie Coyle. Like you saw, if you go rewatch that play, there was so many puck retrievals. Let's say so many. There's a couple, but he was responsible for them, and he just cycled on the right hand side or left hand side of the ice, and you see VC come out on the ice. I think it was a change. I think Logan O'Connor was going off of the ice. VC comes on, just goes straight to the net, right as Coyle is getting the puck kind of in a corner, and bang, he's out on the ice for a millisecond, and he gets his first goal. So yeah, you like what's going on with that aspect. In overtime, you had a good moment for, I thought it was over when McKinnon's kind of going up the right side, circles behind the net and finds Lehkonen. And it was a nice save, but I thought that was the end of the game. Like, just a lot of good moments. I thought it was a lot of good moments, entertaining game. Happy the Avs came away with the extra point. But you saw, you know, Vegas is a good team. I never like admitting that, but they are. And if you see these guys, it's gonna be a dogfight.
Yeah, and the Avs managed to pull this comeback out with the positive review at Jimmy VC heroics, all while beginning to get goalied by Akira Schmidt. Like, he was looking great. I was very impressed with his play. And for the Avs, and one more little note on this game, everyone do whatever, like, I don't know what voodoo dolls we need to throw in the trash, but Arturi Lehkonen is snake bit.
Is
like to the nth degree. I feel so bad for him. Like, you're watching it, it's just like, please, just please score. Like that one, I felt like when it was robbed from Lehkonen, I was like, he's just going to be doomed. And I'm cheering for him to score, but my goodness, he's having a rough stretch.
He just wants to get to the playoffs.
True.
It's all he wants.
Yeah.
And then he just amps it up in the playoffs. But yeah, that review, I'm watching it and I'm like, you felt like you can see it, but it's one of those, like, is it enough? And I was a little bit surprised that they let it in, just because I didn't feel like it was like 99% and common sense.
Yeah.
Sometimes that doesn't always win out. But they gave it to him, so obviously happy about that.
Logical evidence over visual evidence.
Yeah, imagine that. So, all right, let's get our last break in here, and then the Mike Malone firing for the Denver Nuggets. Some people are panicked about that and what it means for Jared Bednar, but we will discuss it. Why not? Let's talk about it. Do that next. All right, if you're looking for a snack that is both delicious and nutritious, crack into a good source of protein with wonderful pistachios. It's one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help you feel fuller for longer. Get snackin' and get crackin' with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. I am the no shell guy. Kyle is the shell guy with I always think it's the chili lime. Is it the chili lime?
Jalapeno lime.
Jalapeno lime, but I think they do have a chili lime also, by the way. But and just get me the roasted pistachios. I'm all for that. So head over to wonderfulpistachios.com right now to learn more. Deliciousness in your hand. All right. We don't discuss basketball a whole bunch on this episode, only when we're doing ad reads and talking about the Auburn Tigers sometimes.
It's still real to me.
You know, And like the everydayers know, I am not an NBA guy. I really don't follow it. But this happened and I took notice. I was like, that seems a little bit weird to me. And the Nuggets fired Mike Malone, their head coach, who won them a title not that long ago. And when I saw it, I was like, I thought the Nuggets were doing well. I don't keep up with the standings all the time in the NBA. And I had to go, I'm like, are they in free fall or something? Are they like in danger of missing a playoff spot or something? No. They're not playing all that well right now. I guess they're on a 4-game losing streak. I don't know if it made it up to 5 or not. 3-7 in their last 10, blah, 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 all that stuff, ups and downs of a season. But you have the NBA season runs kind of pretty much concurrent with the NHL season. And we're almost at the end of the NHL season, which means we're almost at the NHL end of the NBA season as well. I just thought, like, what is the timing on this? Didn't the Grizzlies just fire their coach? And everybody was like, that's bad timing. This is worse. And they're a better team. So you input the Avalanche here because it is a Denver team. It is owned by the Cronkies. And I got a few messages of people, I wouldn't say like in full panic mode or anything like that, but they're like, man, if the ownership can fire a head coach who's doing well, does that mean, Bednar is not safe? Get your thoughts and we'll talk about this.
I would say no, because
no is what? No, he's not safe, or no, it's not. It doesn't pertain to him.
Yeah, this really doesn't pertain to him because the Malone's situation is a lot bit different than Jared Bednar. The Denver Nuggets, yes, they recently won the title not too long ago, but they are a shell of that team now. And imagine that I want to just relate it to Avalanche fans. Imagine this is Cale Makar, Nathan McKinnon only, and 2017's Avalanche team. That's what you're looking at with the Nuggets. And honestly, it's kind of a Malone and front office issue when it comes to Denver, and it's really not getting better.
Well, and no mean to cut you up, I should have said that too. The GM also got fired as well. So this is an ownership thing, right?
Yeah, it's a complete, there was no real improvements to this Denver Nugget team. And as we were recording, the Nuggets are struggling with the Sacramento Kings. You did not hear that wrong. The Sacramento Kings. So it's a different thing. Jared Bednar, go back and look. They talked about during this Vegas broadcast the amount of players that Bednar has had to stick in this lineup with duct tape and just to get to where they are. And this team is one of the favorites because of how this team is comprised. Nathan McKinnon, 4 years in a row, 100-point season. There's a clear difference between the Nuggets and the Avalanche. Bednar is safe. Malone, yes, I think a front office clean out probably was needed. And when you fire a GM, the head coach is usually going to go because you're not going to stick around. And it felt like that team, you want to talk about a message on deaf ears? That's what the Nuggets felt like. Jared Bednar, he still has control of that room.
Yeah.
So there's a difference. I understand the Kroenke thing, but it is night and day situations and night and day leagues.
Yeah, I looked up some stuff as trying to find some reasons why, and I did find a couple sites. There was one I think on Bleacher Report. They had 5 most likely reasons why they fired him. None of them really pertained to Bednar, and one of them was what you were saying. When Jokic is out there, they're solid.
Yep.
As soon as he comes off, it's like they're a completely different team. Okay, we'll put that in Jared Bednar perspective. That doesn't happen to him. Jared Bednar loses guys all the time, and it seems like whoever he puts in there, take him a game or two, but he's getting the most out of those players. The another one that they had, and I think you alluded to it too. Well, you talked about the GM, but I guess the relationship between the GM and the head coach was frayed, was not good. That is not the case in Avalanche world. Jared Bednar and even Joe Sakic and Chris McFarland seem like they're all on the same page. Everybody knows their role. They don't try to overstep their bounds. Bednar's the coach, McFarland's the GM, and we work together. And that's one of the things that they said in this this article, and I guess when after the Nuggets won the championship, their GM left. I think they said he went to Minnesota. So this is kind of new, which that kind of does mirror what's going on in the Avalanche. Like after they won, Joe Sakic didn't leave; he stepped up, but the relationship between coach and GM, no matter who it was, remains good for the Avs. So, but I still feel like this is weird. Why not just play out the season? Yeah, you got a few games left, and then the regular or the playoffs. Just let it go and then address this in the off season. The timing of it to me just makes no sense.
It does and it doesn't. If you watch Nuggets games, the writing's on the wall. This is not a deep team. This is not going to go well when it comes to the playoffs for the Nuggets. And honestly, if you fire your GM, like I said, your coach is going to go. And when that GM is gone, whoever you're bringing in is going to want to bring in their own person. Just go ahead and do the work. Like you know what's happening. And you can watch like the Nuggets team that won the title. Watch the Nuggets now. It is night and day difference. Yeah, Joker's still out there, but it is all around him. The bench is not there. You're not getting those threes that you were, and you're just soft on the interior. So it was bound to happen, and you saw what Minnesota's doing. It had to happen. It's not fun, but you had to make the decision.
Sure, and for the GM to go, that means the moves that he was making were not the best either, and that's where the balance act comes in, because it's the GM is like, okay, I'm going to bring these guys in, hand them over to the coach. What does the coach do with them?
Yep.
For Jared Bednar, he's done well with whatever for the most part. They're not all home runs like Primus. They can't all be zingers.
Hey.
But they, for the most part, guys that Chris McFarland goes and gets, number one, he goes and gets them because he feels like they can fit in the Jared Bednar system. He's not just getting guys out of thin air just to fill roster spots. He's getting guys because he knows the system Jared Bednar wants to play, and Jared Bednar inserts them, and they do well. Sounds like in Nuggets Nation, the moves that what's his last name? Booth, I think it is. The GM is making there when he hands him over to Malone, it's not always working out, and that's going to make both of you guys look bad.
Whenever he makes a move, which is rare. It's not like he's building that team up.
So I get it because the ownership is the same, but I think on one hand, you're very happy with what Jared Bednar is doing and has been doing. So maybe when it happened, sure, I think that some people were like, wow, like that maybe is a surprise without knowing the reasons why. And the Cronkies have gone out, and one of them gave an interview, and I get it. I get his answers and the reasons why. I still think it could have just waited to the offseason. But those things that he was saying, if you want to go back and watch that interview, when you watch that, you're like, okay, that doesn't really float the boat of how the Avalanche are being run right now. So I would say calm down, pump the brakes. Jared Bednar's fine. And I think that's the other part of it is like he was winning, Malone, in Nuggets land. He was winning. And I think that's the other part of why people were panicked, is because like, well, Bednar's winning. He's been winning. He won us a cup just like they won a championship. Just the similarities are all there, but they're not. They're also not. And the ones that we kind of laid out there are the reasons why the GM and the head coach got fired. They don't really pertain to Jared Bednar or Chris McFarland. So everything's okay, people. We're good.
It's okay. Relax.
We're all right. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if the Avalanche fired Jared Bednar like today for no reason, and right before you're about to go to a playoff run?
No,
we're talking about this series against Dallas and be like, this would be Dallas in 4. This team would never be able to recover in that short amount of time.
You're looking at it the wrong way. Just a couple months ago, everybody was saying fire Bednar, and now everybody's saying, "Oh my God, are they about to fire Jared Bednar? Please don't."
And on top of that, everybody was saying fire Chris McFarland.
Yeah.
You don't hear that anymore since the trade deadline.
Everybody's like, "Wait, please don't."
Yeah. So
sit down. I got receipts.
All right. That is going to wrap it up for today, everybody. So we'll be back tomorrow. Anything else going in Avalanche land, we're going to talk about it. Maybe we're getting Landeskog stuff. We'll see. The Avs are on deck for Thursday against Vancouver at home. So,
Oh boy.
yeah. Hey, they just had a sweet comeback against
what have
Dallas.
they done lately?
Love you guys, but not for Thursday night. All right, that's going to wrap it up for today. Thank you for tuning in and making this your first listen of the day. Always appreciated. He's Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan. I am Chris Maselli. This is the Locked On Avalanche podcast. We'll see you tomorrow, where you made it through another 24 hours, where Sidney Crosby is that much closer to being a Colorado Avalanche.
Or the coach of the Nuggets.